Okay, this recording is going to be on charge interactions. So, before we do that, here's a quick recap on some of the things that you might have learned from neutral versus charge. You got protons, which are positive, you have electrons, which are negative, you got neutrons, which are neutral. So, what is basically an electrical force? Yeah, what is an electrical force? I can't read. Well, basically, it is the force that is exerted on a particle when in the presence of a charged particle or object. So, what exactly does that even mean? You know, let's go over that in greater detail. What about electrical force? Well, here it is again in layman's terms. It is basically the charged object exerts a force on other charged or non-charged objects. And there are really two types. There are two different types of influences of these forces. This is more what you might remember. You've got an attractive force and you have a repelling force. So, you know, in life there's all kinds of forces. There's a force of gravity, there's magnetic force, there's friction force, and right now we're talking about electrical force. So when things are charged, they can exert some kind of movement or force on another object, whether it is charged or whether it's not charged. And these can be either attraction or repelling. So let's go look at that in greater detail, okay? So there are the attractions and the repellings. In order to see an attraction type of force, you have to have two opposite charges that come in contact. You know that little Paula Abdul song, Opposites Attract? Well, when you have a positive and it meets a negative, there is this crazy instant attraction and they come together. There's another way that you can also get this. And this way you can get it is when you have a neutral charge coming in contact with a non-charged object. So if you look here in my picture, you see positive. So this is a positively charged balloon, and this is a neutrally charged balloon. And when they see each other, they are so much attracted to each other, and they stick to each other. So that's why sometimes you might see, you know, you can take a balloon and rub it on your shirt, and then you put it up against the wall. It will stick to the wall, even though the wall is neutral, the balloon is charged. That's how it works. Or you can take a balloon and charge it one way, and then another balloon and charge it so that you gain, one gains electrons, one takes electrons. So one is positive, one is negative, which is kind of like up here. And you get two oppositely charged balloons. They come together and they stick to each other. Okay? So now, moving on, we have repelling. So in order to see a repelling force, this happens only, and can I say in big letters, only, when there are the same charges. It's not like attraction, because attraction could either be you got two opposites or you have an opposite and a neutral. But with repelling, it only occurs if you got the same charge. So in this situation, I have negative balloons coming together. They don't come together. They repel, as you see. Oh, okay. It could also happen if they're positive as well. So if you got two positives coming together, then they also repel. Now, if you have two neutrals coming together, nothing's going to happen. You want to see what happens? Take your paper and stick it up against the wall. See what happens. Take the pencil that you're holding and stick it up against the table on the side and see what happens. Nothing. No stick, no nothing. They're neutral. There's no charge. There's no stick. There's no force. Okay? Next. So, why are neutrals attracted to charged objects? Well, here we go. The answer simply is polarization, which really just means a separation. So here is an example. I got a balloon. It's a very neutrally charged balloon. And right here, I have a rod. You see my rod? My rod, I probably just took something and rubbed it against it, which then caused this to be an overall negative charge right here. Okay? Now, once I move this rod near my balloon, then this is what ends up happening. My negatives, all of a sudden, attract the positives that were in my balloon, and then they repel the negatives. So that way, on one side, the positives are over here, and on the other side, the negatives are over there. This is what is called polarizing.